criticize the CCP arrangement. How can you go about uniting the country? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. My first question is on the oil and gas sector. Yes. I think we made significant progress in that sector amid all the noise. And then we saw how the exploration activities were impacted by, of course, the prices in all the gas sector in 2015, and the difficulty in finding something of our shore. So these American companies that we were able to attract spent a lot of money in exploration, but we could not find anything. Even though people in the opposition were saying that we were extracting and putting it on kilo and taking it to Ghana. I'm not in a position to tell you what we will do, but I know that I believe this week in Washington, the president-elect is going to meet with big businesses in all of these sectors, American businesses that are doing business now, including the oil and gas sector. And this is an opportunity to build relationships again, to assure them about its vision for the country and how Liberia is open again for business, where investors will be protected. So I think we should wait for that. The second question from my sister on accountability, moving kids from the street and asset declaration. If you listen to President-elect Amara in the first few interviews and speeches he's giving, he has reaffirmed his campaign pledge he made on accountability. He has said that he's going to make sure he knows what he's inheriting, and he is going to do an audit, but in a way that is fair and just, so it's not wish hunting. And he's thinking about various options, but I will leave that another time for him to articulate his vision. But I know that publicly in Liberia, when he was interviewed by different outlets, he recommitted to that. The issue of juvenile delinquency in Liberia is a problem. It's a problem that is exacerbated by the drug epidemic. And he also talked about that. The DEA has to get more financing and strong leadership. I'm talking about the Drug Enforcement Agency. At all of our border points, Sierra Leone is a big center for kush. We know that. And we know that there's cocaine now in our country, and they are doing all kinds of things to produce all kinds of drugs. So the government has to really be strong on this. I hope that we can support Senator Darius DeLong's program that he started, where he's providing rehab services for some of the kids who are struggling with addiction. It's small, but it is a necessary intervention that ought to be nationalized. And I intend to work with him and other senators to see how we can expand that program across the country, because the drug problem is no longer a Monrovia problem. It is a national problem. we have the kids there who are addicted to this kush stuff here. So it's a priority for us. Asset declaration, yes. He also made a public statement that none of his ministers will take office if they don't declare their assets. And the question is, how about us in the legislature? You know, I don't recall lawmakers declaring assets. I don't want to talk again. They say I'm talking plenty. So I know I will declare my own.
So we're going to move to the line. I'll take 3 questions from this line, and I'll recognize the other 2 hands that have been up for the right. So I'll take the first question.
Sharon, there's one more question. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. You said we attracted over $5 billion in foreign direct investment, and the current president-elect said that we squander opportunity, and then the polarization of the country, I criticize the CPP. You know what you said? So the investment we attracted to the country were good investments. Aslam Mittal, we met there, we made it better. We brought Sam Darby, and Sam Darby started operation, but Sam Darby had to leave, I believe, 2019, because of, you know, the investment climate, the negative investment climate. We lost investment there. We also lost investment somewhere in the Southeast. What I'm trying to say is, it's harder to attract FDI than to maintain it. But when you attract FDI and then you harass the people, you know, for Saturday morning, grab, corruption, everything, you're harassing them, you're making all kind of funny, something, you're inciting citizens against them, then, you know, that investment is not going to work. And that's what happened in our country. And they were induced by powerful people because they wanted these investments to give them contracts by force. And this is where we're going to make government transparent so people know what is happening. On the polarization, you're right, the country is split in the middle, and the new president priority is reconciliation. You got to take office first. I mean, the statement I made was a political statement because I don't understand how you don't have power, CPP, and UP does not have power. And the party that get power, the two of you attacking each other, you forgot what the power you want. Does that make sense to anybody here? Huh? That's the reason why I criticize you. Sorry about that.
Hi, Senator Konneh. My name is Hassan Kiau. One is to praise you for what you did, especially after the accident. I think, like you said, Monroe was on edge, and had you not come out early in the morning, that town would have been on fire. Secondly, before I got here, a few persons, I heard them talking about the LEC thing, and I need to maybe provide a little stuff that you left out, because I was the communication manager at LEC. The CLSG he talked about, and he forget about the cross-border one, he forget about the bombing corridor, and the World Bank 10 megawatts, the Japanese 10 megawatts, which added up to make it to 138, because pre-war it was 182 megawatts, but we had the FHO and all those stuff. So through, according to Brother Konneh and his team, they were able to get the World Bank to have 10 megawatts of power, the Japanese 10 megawatts of power, in addition to the 118 that they already had, including the power plant at Martin. So when you hear people say, oh, the president took light in Cape Mount, no, those lights were already being, they had a bombing corridor that goes to Topmanburg and to Robertsport. Then the other one goes through all the way to Sierra Leone. So these are things that were already before, just about to be implemented, and the government turned over. I just wanted to make this clarification.
Just a quick reminder, if you give it a mic, just be direct to your question, no profile, because we have a lot of people on the line. Thank you.
Hi, Minister Konneh, and now Senator Elect. Congratulations again. My question is, during the regime of Madam Seli, your former boss, there was a time when you were finance minister, you suggested a cut in salary of senators, entire legislature, and that comment didn't go well with the lawmakers. They summoned you for contempt charges, and there was a decision by plenary to put you in jail. But I don't know if you went to jail at the time. So my question here is, now you are being elected as senator of Babolu County, and considering the situation of the economy with high salary within the first branch of government, what are you going to do about it? Do you still stand by your decision at the time that salary should be cut in order to have a better economy and a pay system? The next question is, there have been allegations of bribery within the first branch of government, and almost the entire world knows about that. There was a case in time that the lawmakers allotted some money to themselves in the budget, and when Madam President came to the U.S., she told the world that I did not give it to them, they took it by themselves. What are you going to do as senator of your county to fight corruption? Are you going to tell us exactly when there are brown envelopes coming in within the Senate? Thank you.
Good evening, Senator Konneh. My name is Konneh Jones. The question I have for you has to do with the constitution of a King's Court in Liberia. We've heard a lot of the allegations that we've heard out here about whether or not corruption is going on in our country and all of the different allegations. There isn't any precedent in Liberia to hold any person acting on the government's authority. There isn't any president currently in Liberia to hold them accountable. There's nowhere they can go to be judged, or there's no binding court that can give them judgment. And there's currently a bill in the Senate requesting that the legislature constitute a King's Court. I don't know if you've heard about it, but if you have, I just currently want to know where you stand on that. If you haven't heard about it, what are your thoughts on the legislature of Liberia completing the full judiciary system that we require in our country? The rule of law is the one thing that we can institute that would create good government, and that begins with instituting and constituting what the Constitution has embedded in it. And so I just want to know where you stand. If you haven't heard of it, what are your thoughts on bringing that to pass? Thank you.
Can I answer those? Or do you? Okay. Thank you. Hassan, thank you for the additional information on the power sector. Wolo, you talk about the lawmakers. Just a point of correction. The budget cut I proposed was not specifically on the salary line, was just across the board so that we could move the money to the health sector to fight Ebola. But since you raised the salary issue, to go in heaven, where I said I don't even know how much senators make. Honest, I don't know. I haven't, I didn't get in it for that. But I will find out eventually. So I want to reserve comments on that until I go in there to see how the salary is structured. Because when I was Minister of Finance, they pay them for housing, because Monserrado, technically, for those who come in outside of the county, it's not their official domicile. So they are representing their people there. So therefore, they give them rent for that. And then transportation allowance, all kinds of things. It's done here. There's nothing illegal about it. It's just a question of They say too high given the economic situation in the country, and this is where wisdom and rationality comes in. But I just want to remind everybody that I'm not the only person there. It's 30 of us. I'm just one of 30 people. In order to make any meaningful reforms, you have to build the right coalition with respect. You can't go there and act like you know everything. Sometimes you have to co-sponsor things with people, and I intend to do that. On the issue of bribery in the legislature, I've heard all kinds of stories. Well, you know, I like to talk with evidence. Me, I don't have any evidence of anybody bribing the legislature, even though I've heard about it. It's something that everybody talks about. But say I'm going there now in the pepper bush, I will see it myself. And where I see it, I will not be a participant. I don't need to. God has blessed me. I will do my best to discourage it, you know, to them. And if they refuse to do it, I will let the public know that I'm not a part of it. To Ms. Jones, regarding the claims court, the judicial system, this is a good question. I have not seen the bill. Now that you've asked, I will ask about it and hopefully read it to understand what it is that the bill is trying to accomplish in the judiciary. But I will say this, our court system is corrupt. Justice goes to the highest bidder. Newspaper a few days ago that they stole 100,000 from some office in the Temple of Justice. What is 100,000 doing in a judge's office? How did the judge get 100,000 there? You know, I mean, I'm asking questions, guys. You know, did somebody take that money there to buy justice and he could not take it home, he could not take it to the bank? Because we have the Financial Intelligence Unit in Liberia. Well, most people don't know. So people talk about sanctions, how Americans getting all this information. We established a Financial Intelligence Unit when I was Minister of Finance, working closely with the Treasury Department, and I will be meeting with my counterpart, Eric, tomorrow, just to talk about our experience. So every financial transaction in Liberia is documented by the FIU. So if you are in corruption, the Americans can get a copy of the transaction in the country easily. So we can do the same thing in a court system, you know, but the responsibility of cleaning up the court is with the President and the Chief Justice. This issue of lifetime appointment has to be addressed constitutionally. And I will be a champion for that, but in a way that I don't usurp the function of the judiciary and get in trouble. There's a question here, say, going forward, do you foresee the Liberians in the diaspora in future Liberian elections? Will you consider review of contracts for the Freeport and RIA since they are important sources of our economy? Great question. I don't know who asked this question, no name, but there is a dual citizenship law that was passed by this legislature under President Weah, correct? And we applaud him for that. That's a good thing. I think what we need to do now is to get the election piece in so that Liberians in the diaspora can vote. I mean, you can even do it better. You can do your own electronically, and it can be reported even before Liberian people finish their elections. So there will be no cheating, you know. So, yes, we should push that. And then Freeport and RIA, I don't know what kind of contract you're talking about. You're talking about the BVAC and the baggage handling contracts there? I don't know. APM terminal. Oh, APM terminal. I have to review them. I haven't reviewed the contract, so I can't say anything about that. The system of corruption in Liberia most times forces even the most sincere person to be corrupt. You as a new senator, how do you intend to fight against such system? Binta, is that Soare? Good question, Binta. I will say this. I know some of my colleagues will see this, they will hear it. But the first branch of government under our Constitution has the appropriation power, meaning the power to divide how the country resources will be spent. That is why no contract can be executed in the Republic unless it is ratified by the legislature. And then the benefits are supposed to come out of the execution of that contract to the country must be appropriated by the legislature. So if we want to fight corruption, in my humble opinion, I think we need to start from within. If we can succeed in convincing 100, the House of Representatives is 73, is 30. Altogether, the legislature is 103 men and women. If we can resolve to really look inward and begin to audit ourselves, I mean, you'll be sending a big message to the executive branch, to the judicial branch of government, to really make sure that public money is spent wisely. Most of the times we tend to focus on the executive branch because they get the most money and they are supposed to be the implementer. But the government has 3 branches and all 3 branches are equally accountable. But we never hear about how money is spent in the judiciary, how money is spent in the legislature. I'm just saying that hopefully we can all come to reason that it's time that all 3 branches should be held to the same standard in terms of how we use public money.
Thank you very much. I have three questions. One is about healthcare. On the board, I see healthcare among the stuff that you'll be doing in Buffalo. One of my questions would be, in terms of maternal and child health, Buffalo County is one of the counties that have a very high maternal death rate. And as a senator, I'm concerned. I want to know what are your thoughts or what are your plans to actually address the issue of maternal death in Buffalo County. And as a senator-elect, I know you will be a force for good in the House. So we have a big problem in Liberia when it comes to numbers, when it comes to research. We don't have the numbers on most of these things. Most of the numbers we have, they are research that were done by international partners. So what are you going to do to ensure that we can have numbers, real numbers, to address some of these problems? Because I know you mentioned that during the elections, you needed the numbers to actually decide what to do. The numbers inform your decision. So what are you going to do, or what are your plans in terms of research and having the numbers that we can use to inform some of the programs that will be implemented in Liberia? And you also talk about rehabilitation for our young people. I'm a nurse from Liberia, and I know that we don't have, when it comes to training, we don't have any real psychiatrists in Liberia. So what are you going to do as a senator-elect? I know you are just one person, but as someone who will be a force for good, and I'm sure you will be, how are you going to influence your colleagues to ensure that we can have our health workers being trained, we can have people who are specialized to actually address these problems? And I know you're one person who you are really interested in empowering people, and you also have the ears of the president. I think everybody wants to work, but what are your thoughts in terms of empowering some of our brothers who are not competent enough to work now and later to do that? So these are just some of the questions that I had. Thank you.
Because time is a little bit far spent, and we want to give everybody equal opportunity to say something. We're asking now, you can't come with 3 questions. We can do 1 question per person. So we move forward with that. So the next question is just 1 question, and we try to take as many as we can before the senator.
You allow the woman to ask 3 questions. The kind of man and you say 1. You know, you nothing. AMK, how are you, sir? Fidel, yes, sir. My name is Elect Pia. And Amara, I want to thank you for keeping your promise. And I say so because we talked privately several times before the elections. And you said to me in 2017, we made WIA and we will undo him. The role you played tells me that you kept that promise, and I want to thank you.
That was a secret, man.
And congratulations for your elections. But look, you just presented the challenges that Liberia is that we face with. The enormity of those problems are so huge. You and I have been in government, you know what happens in the Senate. Not to disrespect them, but that's not a place where any serious thing happens. I see your time in the Senate as something that will be wasteful. And that some of the things that are required to be done in the country to be directed at people who are proven to be result-oriented persons. So this is my question. If President-elect Bouaka asks you, AMK, to play a role other than being a senator, what would be your position?
See what happens when you give the phone to the former information minister and press secretary to the president. Hey, Pierre, man, you gotta put me on the spot like that. You're supposed to be my man, my man.
Good evening, Honorable Senator. Yasa from Papua County. I have 2 questions for you. Well, my colleague always asks one on health care. My question to you is that what you think are some of the challenges our county Papua is facing at the moment? And 2, what are your plans to tackle those challenges? Thank you.
I think 3 questions I can answer. The first question came from my sister there, maternal and child death, data for development, empowering young people, right? You're right. In my county, we have a lot of problems with the entire healthcare spectrum. We had a 10-bedroom hospital, the Jalalong Hospital. We struggled as a county to manage a 10-bedroom hospital. Today, we have a 100-bedroom hospital that was built by this regime, and I thank them for that. It's called the Emirates Hospital. The name is appropriate for us, but we'll take what they give us. So my question throughout, and as I started drafting for the first time a development agenda for the county, I was thinking about that hospital. And I went everywhere and I saw the clinics that we built 6-7 years ago have all been abandoned. No health workers, no drugs, and the delivery system there is left to the midwives, and the Ministry of Health will fine the husband for not taking the wife to a hospital that can deliver her safely, which most of the time is a long motorbike ride. They don't have the money, And along the way, they deliver the mobile drug deliverers of babies in my county. And when they found out that the woman did not go to the hospital, then they fined the husband, I believe, somewhere close to $50. So even if they made it to the hospital, no medicine there, nothing is there. It's the conundrum. So it requires careful thinking, and my thought is maybe we can work on this. Sister Patricia from the county. My big idea is to make Buffalo the center for healthcare in Western Liberia. That's my vision. The same way the Jackson Theodore Hospital is in Nimba and serving that part of the country as a referral hospital, I want the Emirates Hospital to be the referral hospital for Cape Mount, for Bomi, and for Buffalo. The reason is simple. You don't have to go to Redemption. You don't have to go to JFK. You can come to Buffalo. But Buffalo must deliver the service. And to deliver the service, you need resources. When 3 counties come together as a Western Liberia legislative caucus during the appropriation process, you can get more money that way than when you go as a single county. That money can be used to train doctors, to hire more doctors, to train nurses, and to bring medicines in the hospital. Those of us who have the connections with the bank, with the multilateral banks, with the WHOs of the world, and shuttle and leverage those connections to complement what we will be putting in the budget. We put our best foot forward and we say, help us. It's called catalytic financing, you know. So that's my vision. But the vision can't work unless I work with the caucuses of the county. So the convening power, I have to maybe put somebody there and lead from behind so everybody can shine. Because of politics, you know. Next thing you know, he won't be president in 2029. And then it's dead. They will kill it, and the people will suffer. Then all the clinics we have, our county, 6 administrative districts, they become sort of part of that network, right? We have a company now in our county called BioChico. There's a Chinese company mining iron ore for the first time in the history of the creation of Buffalo County. They shipped their first iron ore last week. The contract is not too good. I'll review it and change it, but I don't want to scare them. The money that they are getting, they're giving to the county in our contract, this government, was $500,000 per year. For 25 years, do the math, 60 million. Too small. And then the truck, the iron ore from Buffalo County to you cross Sastan, Bomi Road, then you go to Monserrado. They made a small port there for a small ship to take it to the big ship in the ocean and evacuate it to China. The road is about the size of this hall. Nobody else can use it but the Chinese trucks. To add insult to injury, all the 100 trucks are owned by the company, not a single Liberian participation, most so Buffalo County citizens participated. Professor Toba, this is unfair to our people, and I intend to fight to change it. We'll change it. We'll change it. And I'm not going to do it with nepotism. The way we're going to do it, let me repeat, the way we're going to do, we got 6 districts. I will demand, no, this is the time for you to tell me what you're going to do. I'm going to demand that each of the districts get a fleet. Right? When I was Minister of Finance, we built a bank in Buffalo City, and we gave it to AfriLand Bank to manage. Today, that bank is there as a rural development bank, but the bank has liquidity issue. In order for Buffalo economy to work, money has to flow, and money can only flow through the banking system. So we'll create a consolidated account district, and the money from the trucks will go there, and they will go to finance drugs and benches for our students, the drugs for our clinics, so that our people can have the health care they deserve. I'm not going to individualize it. I'm going to make it at the district level. So we'll get ready for that fight. I hope I can count on your support so that for the first time, the first iron ore coming out of our country can help our people. How do you allow a company, a multi-billion-dollar Chinese firm, backed by the powerful Chinese government, to come to your county, evacuate the something? Gogala is Chief Jalalongtan. The revered Chief Jalalongtan is called Gogala. You can be in Gogala, you see the mountain here. You can hear the blast. The clinic there don't have medicine. The school in Gogala does not have teachers. The children have not gone to school for 3 years. You got to be upset about this. Those who from Buffalo, you know what I'm talking about. And that's the argument we made. And we'll change it. We'll change it. So I intend to work with the other people to make our county the center for healthcare delivery. Then Bomi will say, but Amara, what we'll do, what can we get out of this relationship? Then we have to move away from these small community colleges that receive only 50,000 to pay teachers, no research capacity, right? To building a Western Liberia University. Put the money there. You build a university in Western Liberia with campus, big campus, and connect it to other universities that we went to. There's no reason why Drexel cannot connect our school over there, or Harvard. Harvard get free library in cyberspace. You just need to make the arrangement, right? And then you can have a professor exchange. Some of the professors here don't know how to do research in Africa. The university is a center for research, not to go there and do political debates. It's not part of it. So in Western Liberia, we gave Bomi County the university. Then Cape Mount would say, but what do we get? Cape Mount is a tourist attraction and also one of the sources of our fishery. So economic support the 500,000 market in Western Liberia with fish. And then we can introduce me. I can go for vacation in Cape Mount on my break. I go there, I advertise it so people know that the place is good for senators. Then they can come there too. So this is how we will do this thing. Then when we get the money, we buy the 4x4 SUVs and turn them into ambulances. Not the American ambulances we have here, but Nissan patrol jeeps, and move all the seats inside and customize it into ambulances and put it between each county and the hospital, so that when they need to evacuate sick people, they can just bring them to the hospital. You know, critically ill people. You know what that would do for my county? The hotel industry will boom. The market women then will sell more. Huh? But here's what we are doing even in the transition. We've already established contact with the Morocco healthcare system. They have a good healthcare system, and we intend to build a partnership with them so that they can help to train our people and have doctor exchanges to make that place work. That's a commitment. Empower young people, my sister, we need to build skills. From my experience in doing this with the TV, we need to build the skills that the economy requires. You can't just build skills and just let the people go. No job in the economy. So you have to create the jobs. When you bring this company, you have to require what kind of skills they need. And the TVETs in the country will have to teach the skills. How we're going to do that is a national effort. I see see people building vocational school here, vocational school there. It's not linked to anything. And as a result, the children go there, when they come out, no job. So what if when we get the young people who go to become motorbike mechanics, for example, I'm just giving an example. So they graduate from that training, then you put them into cooperatives. Then their government gave them $10,000 as a notch. Imagine 10,000. Your government gives you $10,000. It says start the business, but don't leave them alone. Each country should have a chamber of commerce. The chamber of small business associations should help to train these people how to do accounting, how to manage money, how to do business, so that you don't eat all at once. It's a whole process. Otherwise, we're not going to change it. All these makeshift motorbike garages and keke garages in the country, we can modernize them and make them work for the young people, just like the executive car wash is doing right at Oro Junction. That's what our car wash does. It's a cooperative. And it's surviving on its own now. If we can replicate that across the country, we'll do well. I think some of the big ideas we can think about it. The other thing we can do is what we call the crop buyback program to spur young people into agriculture. Today, you go in the interior, you have 60, 70-year-olds making farm. The farm can't even fit here because they don't have the strength anymore. All the young people have become back riders because they get quick money for cash flow. How do you divert them from becoming motorbike drivers back to agriculture to produce food? So with this money from BioChico, introduce a meal program at the schools, and you buy the food locally. It becomes an incentive for people to make farm and sell to the school system. We have to intentionally induce this, or else we will continue to import rice out of Liberia. The amount we spend every year on rice we bring into the country is $300 million US. And guess what? It is the cartel led by the Lebanese that bring most of that rice into the country. And they source the letters of credit from Dubai, from Lebanon, and other places that have easy access to finance. And they make $5 on average on each bag of rice. And then that money goes back to where they got the letter of credit from to bring the rice in the country. It sucks out the US dollar out of the economy, and every day we're talking about the exchange rate. This is where it's coming from. So, as a senator, I'm going to be pushing a legislation to see if we can create a facility at the central bank to give these letters of credit locally so that the profit stays in Liberia. And then we can create an agriculture bank that is going to provide money to farmers so that we can produce local food and reduce our reliance on importation. So we can do that with the crop buyback program to empower the youth. My friend Pierre asked me a curveball. To be honest with you, I intend to serve in the Senate. Now, my sister is here. Magasa here? I thought about you, but you're not here. So I got to show you to the people. That's my older sister there. Actually, the one I'm talking about. That woman is a great woman. She helped to raise me. When our mother died, she became my mother, and she and her husband sent me to school. She used to make bed sheets to pay my tuition. So I'm grateful to her. Yeah, thank you. So yeah. So Pierre, I'm sorry my people elected me. I went through mud, my man, to get to this Senate. I can't go through that struggle in a abandonment, man. But let me tell you this, my friend. Thank you for your loyalty to the party. Thank you for your loyalty to the cause. I promise you I will be an anchor in the Senate for good governance. And as long as it's good governance from President Boakai, I'm going to support it. I will be an anchor there. Yeah, so I answer Patricia's question. That's how we're going to deal with the healthcare challenges. The other challenge in the country is education. Everywhere you go, volunteer teachers. What they did, they retired the teachers, but they did not train more teachers at KRTTI, at ZRTTI to bring them into the school system. So everywhere you go in the county, it's all volunteer teachers who have not had any classroom training. But because they want their children to go to school, the few high school people, graduates in the town will volunteer to teach, and the parents will pay them. So that's extra burden on the poor parents, when our elementary school system should be free. We're going to change that. Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Tuti Johnson.
We're going to take only 4 more questions. There are people that may want to take photos with the senator-elect, and time is fast spent. So I'm going to take 4 people from the line, 4 questions. The senator will answer those questions.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Honorable Senator, my name is Tuti Donzo. I got concern and I got question. So my question is, from your expose, I think the diaspora should not be underestimated in their strength. For example, corporate police here, they are willing to go back home and invest, but the investment security have to be seen. I know you know what I'm talking about. So that's something if you can elaborate on it further to assure our brothers in the background or everywhere who are here willing and they want to go back home to improve the life of our people, they can have security on an investment. Number 2, and not number 2, but relative to the question, relative to the question is the private sector. I think the private sector is very important, not to consider everything be on government. And I guess you're also aware of that. So I think the private sector is very important, that if the government you are part of or that's coming in should be able to strategize many things, especially when it comes to the diaspora, to engage the private sector, because that's going to be the force of the economy. Thank you so much.
It's funny. First of all, my name is Siddiqui Danzo, and standing before you, I am the chair of all the African in New York. So having that experience to stand before you, means a lot of men. However, I think the essence of we being here is to have a collective idea and see how we can have that implemented into Liberia. And you being a senator-elect, being in our midst means a lot. However, I understand that's something that we do here, and I want to see how you will approach that in Liberia. I had a meeting with a lot of young folks in New York, and they were speaking on business opportunity in the United States, and how can we apply that for the young people to position themselves into a place where they don't have to struggle when it comes to jobs. We should the NABE program, minority-owned business firm that actually work in the United States, and that give them a stable resources that they can be there for at least 1 to 2 years before renewing the contract. How do you plan to take this idea and give it security, both the private sectors and investors, and including the governmental sectors, to give them security to have this implemented into Liberia for young people to stay on their feet? Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Senator. My name is Maurice Kisama. A post-war country like Liberia, as much as we need the professionals in the development, we also need people with skills and vocational training. 12 years, educational program, she paid more attention in the tertiary educations. She upgraded universities and community colleges in almost all the counties. Mr. Senator, This government cannot absorb all the young people and the rest of the other populations in the government. The way to absorb the people into employment by creating more vocational schools. We need carpenters, we need plumbers, we need electricians, ministers, you go on and on and on. For us to be able to absorb them, we need to create more vocational schools. What is your own program in terms of vocational training? Thank you.
Yes, you don't have to. So take.
That is the question.
My name is Marian Keita, and I work in social work. Amara, you indicated that you ran your platform on issue-based, right? But I come from solution-based. And everything I hear here is about accountability or what jobs are you going to create. But I went to Liberia 3 times, and I noticed a culture of corruption. But it's not just the government. This is a Liberian culture. How do we change our mindset to get to a place where we don't have to look to politicians for solutions? The solutions is within us because we are the source of the problem. Thank you.
Last question.
Hello, thank you very much, Honorable Man. My name is Leo Cummings. I'm a nurse. I was the one that called on you when the accident happened. And thank you so much that you were able to calm the situation. My concern is about mob violence. What is happening in the streets of Monrovia is just, we don't get it. That you can just leave your house and get in the street and get attacked and get beaten and killed. And people stand around and only doing video, no police. This is getting out of hands. This is scary. This is going to scare investors away. Even we that in the diaspora that have the money to go back home, we are afraid. What can be done? Is it police are not enough to provide security for our people? Liberians are living in fear. Fear. This is scary. Honorable Senator, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Donzo, you asked about the diaspora. I think in my closing, I implore the diaspora to get active again. My fellow Liberians is mourning in Liberia again. When you change government, day breaks. You have a new morning. The booster is going. Right. The sun is coming up. Don't wait until the sun gets hot. Then you come out. It's going to be so hot, you're going to run and go look for shelter. This is the period to get involved. And I can't emphasize enough how the diaspora can play a role. Your role should be beyond just sending money. Aren't you interested that your approximately 120 to your relatives, and every year their lives not improving? You're not concerned about that? You got to be concerned about that. The request can't stop coming to you. When you think you've just empowered somebody, at the time you look, they call you again, you have to send money. There's something fundamentally wrong. I don't know what it is. But I know by rethinking our engagement strategy, we can find a solution. Solution tonight. I'm not going to stand here and act like some genius that I have the answer to all the questions you're asking me. What I can tell you is we need to commit to forming a working group to begin to think about a diaspora to the Liberian problem. And I think this is something that we can encourage our new president to do is beyond just going Monrovia and having photo opportunities and going there and, live video for people to see in America that you've entered the circle of power. It got to be more than that. You go on delegations, you got to go there to make the case. For your relatives in Liberia that you've been sending money to for decades and nothing is happening, you got to find a solution to that. That's one. The other role the diaspora can play, the same way the diaspora advocated for the TPS, and all those protective statuses that you're pushing here for some time. We need to step back now and say what role the diaspora can play in terms of influencing, right? America's strategic interest in our country. What is it? Do we know? Anybody can tell me tonight what America's strategic interest is in our country? In the Cold War, it was the Omega Tower, and also during World War II, it was LRTN, and also, it's perhaps Firestone and HPX. HPX, it's a whole new company we're hearing about. It's an American company that they took $30 million from without going through the process, and that's a whole different story. But the diaspora need to understand and influence and create some sort of hook so that the money that America is sending and no impact through USAID and others. You ought to be concerned about that. So I propose a working session when I'm real senator, then we can come here or maybe send for a few people so that we can work and sit down and think about what can we do. Joe Biden has Africa policy is around the diaspora. Has the Liberian diaspora tapped into that? So should he get re-elected? What can you do to take advantage of that so that you can help your country? Private sector is the engine of growth, no doubt. But how do you attract your private sector when your rule of law is broken, when your regulatory environment is not working? When you have corruption, everybody is asking for bribe. On the plane, before they land in the country, you're asking for bribe. And they're recording you, and they're giving it to the Americans, and they're sanctioning you. Still, you keep doing it. These sanctions, they have records of recordings of you asking the investor for money. And they go to their embassy and give it to the ambassadors. You say, I can't deal with this. So it's not, nobody is picking on anybody. These are things that they're doing, bad behavior, being recorded, documented. And the Americans are doing what our government has failed to do. Because you know why? Everybody knows everybody. Man, take it easy. Oh, they play, you gotta take it easy. I mean, you can't fire. Man, take it easy. You can't just fire everybody, my man. Let the other post see it. They didn't do nothing. So what are you talking for? Somebody talk about culture. My sister Keta, Miss Keta, she's right. There's corruption in the mosque. There's corruption in the church. There's corruption everywhere in the country. These days, the police stay in the street in front of you and say, give me money. Boldly, in front of you. But everybody focuses on the executive branch and the people who are there. Yes, I agree. But you got to look within yourself. In a family, when they give you money to keep, do you eat some? And it's not for you. You criticize the government for 5 years. Then the time came now, they say, we're going to order your own brother. Because your brother was in our government. They say, oh, that witch hunt. Because your brother is there. In fact, were you clean? People not clean. You can't, what? When are we going to get serious? Here. Ellen Cochran. Is she in jail yet? Or she's, Ellen Cochran was running RIA when I was Minister of Finance. Mrs. Salit just loved this woman because she flew her. No, she can fly helicopter. She wants to make her defense minister first. He said, no, take it easy now, because you know the culture of the military here, you can't just bring somebody and put them there. No, she's a woman. I want to make the first woman defense minister. He said, take it easy, take it easy. He said, okay, since she can fly plane, that will go to RIA. Maybe she can do something there. She goes there. You all know the story. She started wiring money left and right to an address in New York where there was no business. That were living in that place. It is true. But what did we do? What did we do? Our police leaders escorted her to the border and she escaped justice. Then she came here now, she holding town hall meeting, like everyone clapping for her. I got to put it to you, diaspora. She came in fairly here. She went everywhere. She would play the recording. Oh, she would go sit down with these guys there. They would talk plenty because they see a woman. Then they would just lie on the other people. She came and played them here. Oh, the person corrupt. But the more than 500,000 she sent here of public money, she got off scot-free here among y'all. She came here. She did the same thing with the American people money, the COVID money. They caught her. She went Liberia. She was welcome as a hero. But people, I had to say this to my sister's point. Liberians would rather public officials take money from the road that's supposed to benefit them to connect markets and give it to them. Then you good person. I ain't get time for the road. I'm used to it anyway. That's a societal problem. Ellen Cochran is in jail. And there are people here who just came on people. I didn't come here to fight anybody, to call names, but you know who I'm talking about. They live fake lives here. All because they want to go and show off at home. Work. Work for the money. Don't do anything dubious here to put people's lives at risk. Then because you get some TV station, everybody clap for you. No. When are we going to be angry to say, no, let's boycott this. It's not clean money. So we love our friends, then we attack the other people, then everybody's here to fight because you want anybody to touch you. My people, leadership has a price. Leadership has a price. If you don't want to pay that price by somebody crushing you or attacking you because you're doing the right thing, don't jump into leadership. We need to cut the crap. If my brother steals or my brother is doing something wrong, we should say it. I should say it. This is the problem. Just recently, our president said he's going to audit. The State Department releases a report. The report says the General Auditing Committee is not independent by international standards. How is Joe Baka going to use the same auditing general commission that has 10 new jobs to audit the very people they refused to audit when they were there? And then we don't expect that to become political? I hope President-elect listen to me. Tell the Americans to give you one of the big accounting firms to go over there and do this audit so it's not politicized. That's the solution.
Ladies and gentlemen, time is fast spent now. Okay. Honorable Konneh asked me to take one more question. I can do only one more question, please, and then we move on. After the two questions, we wrap up the Q&A this evening. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. My name is Jerry Konneh, and I'm the Secretary General of the Liberian Association here. I just want to congratulate you and thank you for your service to our country as Finance Minister and what you are about to do as Senator of Bapolu. But I really want to ask the Professor Alari Tupa. Professor Alari Tupa, you are one of the giants of the progressive movement in country Liberia. I want to thank you also for all you've done for our country. But in retrospect, what would you say is the progressive movement biggest failure in Liberia? When people carving out or talking about multi-partyism, did you envision seeing 15, 20 political parties all splinter that cannot come together under one banner to fight or to go against the incumbent? Is that the kind of multi-partyism you envision? So what's the biggest failure of the progressive movement of Liberia?
Thank you very much. Let me question you the occasion. Let me question you the occasion to thank my GM brother, Senator Amara M, on his election as Senator of Bapulu County. Bapulu is blessed. The Western Coast is blessed. The Republic of Liberia is blessed. In our system of government, there are divided powers and shared functions. So if you have somebody like Amara with his knowledge base in the executive branch of government, in the Senate, he is able to adequately reinforce the work of a good government. We look forward to that feedback. Amara, you have my support. You have my unwavering support as Senator of our country. We fought for democracy. But you asked me a question by providing your perspectives, and you want me to treat your perspectives as a question. As was said by Albert Einstein when his students asked him when the bomb was dropped on the why is it that when the scientists have discovered the structure of the atom that is destroying human beings, the politicians are able to stop the atom from destroying the human race? And he said, politics is harder than physics. We fought for democracy in order to get the space for your generation to have freedom of association, freedom of one man, one vote, one woman, one vote, and an honest counting of ballots. If the progressive community did that duty to the country, we are the ones that went to jail. We are the ones that stood up to governments, from one government to the other. We fought. And we brought down many governments. And we have a situation in which we compromised and decided that we gave our attention to a candidate of another political party because he had the capacity to remove a criminal government that had privatized the state and criminalized the state. I do not think that it was a mistake on our part. As far as we are concerned, there will be liberals in Bouakar's government. There will be radicals. There will be competing demands on the policy direction of the country. In order to resolve that, revolve around the Bouakar agenda. Think Liberia, love Liberia, and build Liberia.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, Honorable Konneh. Congratulations as Senator-elect. We applaud you for helping to erect checkpoints that led to defeating the FCDC.
at the polls. Thank you very much, and congratulations. Liberia currently has one of the most unskilled and most hungry populations in the world, based on contemporary research. That said, diaspora Liberians are to take charge of sustainable development. And it comes with us, or you, I should say in particular, and the elected team, providing a safe space for us to actively engage. And as a senator of Buffalo, close to a true marriage, to be precise, Jimmytown, how do you guys anticipate engaging mechanized farming as you support local farmers? A. B. Policy-wise, do you think the president-elect will immediately repeal the newly established executive order by President Weah? And if so, what's your take? Lastly, can you please, or will you be able to champion the review of existing concessions agreements so that it benefits the poor? Because during you guys' term in government, it was alleged 66% of the 68 were bogus concessions. And to conclude, you spoke of audit. We appreciate audit. It's imperative that the CDC government get audited. No guys open the store, they are thieves. But don't you think we should extend this audit to Ellen's government or his predecessor? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. But you gotta listen to your answer now. No, I got your questions, but I want you to listen to the answers. Because I want us to be aligned. Okay. So your first question was about agriculture. Yeah, that's agriculture, mechanized agriculture. It's a good point, and I think in the arrest platform of the Unity Party, the first letter there is agriculture. Agriculture is going to be a priority for President-elect Joe Boakai. And we cannot succeed in agriculture without mechanization. But to do mechanization, we need to make sure that we get the land tenure right. We've got to fix land so that when mechanization happens, which require a lot of land, then you will not have conflict, because land is one of the main drivers of conflict in our country. But I agree with you that we need to mechanize. My personal thing about agriculture and food sustainability in our country is to build incentives to make farming easier. It's a high labor intensive exercise with manual agriculture. And then when you do the farming and the road that you're supposed to use to take your crops to market is not good, you lose the crop, it disincentivizes you to go to the farm next year. If China feeds 2 billion people and we don't hear about starvation and death, they're able to feed them domestically. There's something they're doing right in agriculture regardless of the form of government. So my advice to the president-elect would be, I don't like Chinese architecture anyway. Let's see if we can tap into that secret they have to feed their people so that we can replicate it in our country to support agriculture. our G2G, government-to-government program with China, our bilateral program should be anchored in agriculture. We can get a lot from there, not for them to come and do it themselves, but to support local farmers to mechanize. They require money that we don't have. Mechanization requires machines. Machines cost money. When you don't have that, you embed it into your bilateral engagement with the country that can do that. And I think China can help us better. On the issue of the executive order on rubber, correct? I will leave it to the president to respond to that. I'm not his spokesperson. Well, my personal take on it, the ban on importing raw rubber from the country, honestly, in my view, if the intention is to add value, and by adding value, you can get more taxes, and you can create more employment for our people, it's a good thing. Huh? Firestone has been getting raw rubber out of the country for how many years without adding value? We got to look at these guys and put the politics aside. If that's the intention for Firestone, then for Mr. Jetty, something to, because you can't have Mr. Jetty build this big factory in Wela, and he does not have a rubber plantation like Firestone, and then the mayor spend the money there, then that's a loss. So since you have rubber farms in a country, you have to protect that investment, because that investment is going to create jobs on the floor. In addition to the jobs in the plantation, it's a net employment gain, right? When you add value, like, I don't know what they're making their mattresses, or maybe producing tires, or whatever, is good for the country. You utilize the electricity that we put into the Kakata corridor. Huh? We put electricity there. The idea was to do light manufacturing and make BWR the center of excellence in the Mano River Union. That's the goal. So that company there is useful. If Firestone cannot add value to the rubber, if you have another company that can add the value, as Liberians, we ought to support that, no matter which government does that. But again, this is me not reading the executive order yet. The concessions, we have to. We said that somebody did it out of 66, 63. Yeah, I hear this thing here. It shocks me because I was in the government, I didn't see that. But then when you look at the people who did the review for the NGO, most of them were seditious. Yeah, can you buy them? I didn't want to work for that NGO. Yeah, you got to take these things for a grain of salt. How come when they came, after they condemned those concessions, they did not review it? You got to open your eyes, my people. All that thing about CDC was a farce. It was a mistake, a tragedy, like HB said, ready to happen. It ain't happened. It happened. That's what I said to you. I beg you. I said to you that 3 groups in Liberia, the real Liberia, our people there in the interior, our people there who there, they hold to their culture. No matter what, they will not change. Then the second group, like us here, the enlightened ones, those of us who finish university, those of us who finish high school, who've traveled, who've seen the world, we are smart Liberians. We don't get along. We condemn each other. When somebody rats you, we put it down. Then the last group, that is Zoko them, that is volatile group, the children who trying to make it, they're riding their bags, their keke. So long you don't borrow them, they're okay. They're plenty more than us in a smart group and more than the real Liberian group. And the reason why whoever they support win election. If we in the smart group don't connect with them and begin to pull them along, they will vote for the Akaras Green and other people again. So I'm telling you, it was all because that group is plenty. So anything you do, they will tell them is bad, and they will listen to them because they all care. We need to change that. So that whole bogus concession was political, and our government was weak to debunk that.
So it entered into the people's head. Then the question is, when you came, what did you do? So I think I will champion that, to review these concessions, to make sure they work. One is in my county, the Biochico one I told you about. We got to change that. Then finally, the audit. I support the audit. I also support those who are advocating that it should go way back. Let me tell you, when the CC government took office, there were more than 300 qualified audits done by the GAC on record. They're there. Some of them had egregious financial, improprieties. Some of them had administrative improprieties. Some of them had procurement and other things. They're there. They could have fixed that. Money went to audits. We should go there, no problem. But let me tell you, my brother, it takes on average about 6 months to audit one institution. You get more than 60 institutions in the government. Extrapolate that to 6 years, to 12 years. Mr. Joseph Parker will spend his first term just audit. He will not do anything. We've got to be careful here. We've got to manage our expectations. Mr. Parker's challenge is to fly an airplane that needs to be repaired in flight. No, let me repeat. No, it's not. Mr. Parker is flying an airplane, a country that is damaged, but he needs to go to a destination and he got to be repairing the plane in the air so the plane can crash. You got to start with the low-hanging fruits that you get evidence for and implement those to set the stage. Then you get the economy going to pay for future audits. Because where are you getting the money from? We gotta be bold here. Audits not cheap. When you take all your money and put it into audits, how are you going to pay the teachers? How are you going to pay the health workers? How are you going to pay the civil servants? How are you going to fix the roads? How are you going to do agriculture? It's a whole different ballgame for him. So let's give him a chance to put a program together and let the country know how you're going to do this thing. But I know he's committed to audits.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to say thanks for taking time out to be able to ask Honorable Konneh your questions. At this time, I'll call to the podium Musa Willie, who will give our closing remarks. And after the closing remarks, we will make way for group pictures with the senator-elects. I know everybody wants something for Facebook, so we'll see how we can arrange that, and we can get a few pictures taken just before Honorable Konneh leaves the hall tonight.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I know time is fast spent. On behalf of the team of Amara M, we want to extend our biggest thanks and appreciation to all of you that left your busy schedule to be here today. And thank you for your patience. For those of you questions that were not answered, we have your questions, and Mr. Konneh is going to answer some of these questions every time he go on the radio or every time he get on his page. Some of you send your phone numbers for one-on-one contacts. We're going to keep in touch with you. And while we are here, if you want to talk to Mr. Konneh one-on-one, if it's not possible today, just write your name, your number, and your email on a piece of paper and give it to me. We're going to be in Minnesota on Friday and Sunday. For those of you in the Midwest, all right, for those of you in the Midwest, we're going to be in Minnesota for 3 days. You can join us in Minnesota. Thank you very much. Now we're going to, MC, you will take care of the picture thing. I don't want to jump over my function. So thank you, God bless you.
Hi, my name is Martha Tomley, owner of Matisia Natural Hair Salon, located on 4405 Chestnut Street. We are specializing in locks, natural hair, braids, and etc. Call us for all your natural hair needs. You can reach out at 267-703-2330. If you have pictures or videos you want to send us, you can send it to 267-224-0693.